Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to yet another new music review. Now, if you're new here, my name is Sean. I do daily music reviews here on the channel, and I share my thoughts, opinions, feelings, emotions, all that really fun stuff, and I definitely encourage you to do the same thing in the comments below. Now, if you end up liking what you see, definitely subscribe and like the video for more content as well for all the future videos. In this video, I'm going to be starting a new kind of concept here on the channel as well, which is going to be to essentially do album reviews. So what's going to happen is I'm going to be doing a video per song. I'm going to do multiple ones per day, just kind of move each album along and not take too much time on them, but give them enough, time and just, enjoyment for that kind of thing too. So the first one I wanted to kind of conquer, first up, because I haven't heard it for a while, is going to be the album Sundowning by the band Sleep Token. Now, this album came out in 2019. I have heard it before a few times, many times actually, but I just thought it would be really fun one to start off with. I've also seen the band live a few times before, and I'll be seeing them live again in the next few months here out in Los Angeles as well. So this first song on this record is called "The Night Does Not Belong to God," again by Sleep Token. So here we go.
Sounds like in the low light, in time and divine, we tangle endlessly, like lovers entwined. I know for the last time you will not be mine, so give me the night, the night, the night. The night comes down like heaven. The night
Alright, guys, so that again, that was the song by Sleep Token for The Night Does Not Belong to God. Now, a lot to say here, so I'm going to give my full thoughts and feelings a little bit on the lyrics and just how it makes me feel. And just, because again, this is the opening track, so there's a lot that goes into it as an opening track. So, for me, I feel like this is really pretty much one of the most beautiful songs overall that the band has ever written in just general, and that's saying a lot because I feel like they have a lot of beautiful music out there for sure. That's been released on the albums and stuff like that over the years. But what makes me say that is because of the fact that it's, for one thing, it's the opening track, and I feel like with a lot of opening tracks for albums, there's kind of a lot of responsibility with them as far as like how I feel at least, where it's like I feel like they have to be either I want them to be, I should say, like really epic songs. And then I feel like that fits the bill for this song for sure, where it's like there's a lot. It's a I love that it's a lead in, where it's a slow lead in, and then it's a slow like fade out of the actual music itself too. And one thing I know about Vessel the singer is that I feel like he is very very intentional with how he writes his music, like lyrically speaking. Where if he repeats lyrics, which he does in quite a few songs, but really on points he's trying to get across overall. And again, I'm not gonna pretend to dive into his psyche and the lore of the band. So if you're here for that, that's not what I do. But I don't want to get into that because there's so much involved with that stuff. But as far as like lyrically speaking, I don't really know what it's about. I know what it makes me feel, which is the fact that I feel like to me where it's kind of like he's trying to pretty much put at this point where, especially in the very end, where he's like, like this night is all I have, so give me the night, the night, the night. And I feel like that is really him saying like, I know you will not be mine for whatever reason, whether it's love or friendship or whatever. So if I only have tonight to be with you or to be friends with you, whatever the case is, that let's make it the best it can possibly be. And I feel like the majority of the song lyrically is like that a lot too. And I feel like the music really accompanies that in a way where it's like every time that, because it's a very resolving sound in there for the do 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 do, that part. It's very resolving, which means that it's like where it always comes back to itself. And for me that really means like it's kind of almost like I read it almost of way of like where the sun is setting in a way with each part like that in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. It makes sense in my brain, which is why it's hard to put into words sometimes. But I feel like with how that sound comes is again the intro as far as like the lead in and then the fade out points, and then you have all the music in between. Obviously, I feel like with the way that the lyrics are and how they're repetitive or they're repeating themselves, with that phrase especially, as to give me the night, the night, the night. I feel like that's a very telling thing of where again basically saying like, give me this night over and over again. Like I would love to have it forever, essentially things like that. And that is just a beautiful song. I don't know the intentionality behind it. And for me, the biggest part for me is that because again it's an opening track, and like I said before, I feel like opening tracks have to be a pretty epic thing. Where if it's a slow song like this, they have to bring a lot to the table and open up the record or the album in a really really ambitious way and make you want to listen more. That's the whole point, in my opinion, of having an opening track or an opening song to an album be very, very epic and intentional of that type. Because if I feel like in the years I've listened to music, for me at least as a listener, for when a band has a bad opening track on there, it kind of makes the album not be as fulfilling from the beginning to ending. And what I mean by that is like for me, this album is a no skip album is what I call it. So it's like where you can listen to every single song on the album and love it. Like it's just that good. And I don't feel that way about every Sleep Token album, which I'll get into later on down the road here for just for reviews and things like that. There's some albums of theirs that where I will skip a song or two just because I just don't like it, and I'll go into that later on down the road. But for this one, for me, like it's a no skip album. And that's hard to do these days. Not because I'm not trying to nitpick music or anything like that. I'm not trying to go that route with this review process or anything like that, because I try to always look not impartially, but because again it's all my opinions and my feelings and my emotional and base for how I give the information to you guys how I feel. But I feel like with this song, really, that for where it goes on to into the album, I feel like it's a very 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 good opening song because of the fact of how beautiful it is. It's very minimal. um like there's not a ton of going on in the music itself. And if you've heard literally anything from Take Me Back to Eden, like that album is is what I call sectionally heavy, where there's a lot of like crazy section switching and BPM changing and all that, and it sounds cool. But I think this song specifically, especially does a great job of keeping it simple and keeping it well rounded in that sense. And the other thing I love about it too is the fact that everything production wise is absolutely amazing too. And I feel like there's not really anything I would want to improve on for production from a production standpoint for this song, because the way things fade in and fade out and stay there and kind of revolve around you with headphones on at least, it sounds insanely, really just it sounds insane. And ironically enough, this is also for me the first album that I liked by the band. And when I say that, I'll elaborate. So basically, when I was presented with Sleep Token as a band or as an artist, essentially, and I knew nothing about them, I heard the singles basically from Take Me Back to Eden first, and I did not like them at the time, I should say. And then I typically, if I want to give a band a chance, I will typically do a deep dive on their older discography if they have any, and kind of go that route with it. So I did that with this band, and then I found this album and also the This Place Will Become Your Tomb album. Those are still both my favorite albums by the band as of this far. But this album really just kind of like this song actually was one of the first ones I ever really fell in love with because of how good the production is and how much the lyrics are so simple, but they work and they're not overdone or overused or anything like that. And it's just a beautiful song. So that's kind of my feelings towards the song itself. But in the comments below, like I said before, give me your thoughts and opinions on this song, "The Night Does Not Belong to God." Let me know how it makes you feel, what you wish they would have done better on it, or done differently maybe. Just any thoughts and feelings you guys have. And again, if you're new here and you like the video, then definitely subscribe and give it a like. And also, I do have a Patreon as well, which I'll put in the description below. So if you want to support me, support the channel, support this kind of style of content, then definitely go there and just join the community, because I want to make this into a really massive community of just music loving people, and it's more about positivity than anything else. So again, thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.